welcome. Today we're going to take an in-depth look at the Werewolf. So I want to talk about the mechanics. I also want to talk about passives and like gear choices and that kind of stuff, because there is some really interesting things to know. First, passives. So Pursuit gives you 100% more stamina return on heavy attacks, really strong. Devour. So when you feed, you gain 12 seconds, right? But here you have to be careful. When the enemy disappears while you're feeding, you do not get the 12 seconds. Kinda sucks a little bit, especially in PvP. Blood Rage, so I get a lot of questions, how can you stand in Werewolf that long? It's this passive. Every time you get hit, you gain 3 seconds in Werewolf. There's a 3 seconds cooldown. It's really strong. You can feed on another dude, like give him the disease. Then Savage Strength, so increases weapon damage by 18. That's a lot, it's insane. So 18% here if you wear medium armor, another 12%. Then we're at 30 already. If you're a Templar, you get the Balanced Warrior, another 36% more weapon damage. It's huge. Now, next thing, we have Call of the Pack. So every time a werewolf body is here, it gives you 20% kind of cost reduction time in Werewolf. This stacks up to 80%. So when you have 2-3 friends to play with, you basically can stand in Werewolf forever and you will not have to transform back. Can be really helpful, but then I will also talk later about why it's not really good to stand in Werewolf for too long. So now Werewolf ulti. There is 2 ultimates. There is basically a pack leader and a berserker. I've chosen the berserker. Usually because this one gives you 40% increased damage on your bleeding, right? And you also see both of those ultis, the other Morph 2, give you 10k extra physical and spell resistance, so you're really tanky. That's really cool. And on top of that, while slotted, you gain 15% stamina recovery. So you can combine this 15%, and if you're, for example, Templar with Repentance or one of those, you get another 10%, you're all at 25%. If you have medium armor, you have even more, and it's just, you can stack up a lot of stamina recovery. Really cool. Now the other morph, pack leader, kind of doesn't have the extra bleed. It has still bleed damage, but it doesn't do that much damage, but you get 2 small wolves with you. Usually they don't deal that much damage, but in PvP sometimes it can be helpful if you want a line of sight, some damage thingies can be helpful, but I prefer this one. Now in terms of skills, we have 2 here. I basically always prefer Feral Pounce because every time you jump, it gives you another second in werewolf form. The other one just does small AoE damage, but I prefer this here. So you get 2 seconds every time like I jump to enemy. Oh no, sorry, 4 seconds, sorry. Then we have this here, so heals for an additional amount over time and increases your weapon damage. Most people use Here Since Rage because this here is basically fucking useless. You get 3.4k heal over time over 8 seconds. That's just, it's useless, okay? And with this morph, you can get another 10% extra weapon damage, okay? So this alone and the passive here, you give you already 28%, and you know where we are with all the other stuff. It's just insane how much weapon damage you can stack. And this is your basically your only heal in Werewolf. Not your only, but your only direct heal. So when you use this, I will show you in a sec. Then Ferocious Roar. Something else. This is Magicka based, so you need Magicka to use this. It's not stamina based. Ferocious Roar. When you kill targets, it leaves nearby enemies off balance and disoriented. This one here gives like weapon damage to your close friends, but it's a useless morph. Everybody has the brutality buff already. This is the thing to go to. This is like it's like the Fear from Nightblade, okay? It has a 1 second cast time though, so you can't animation cancel it. You need to let it cast its channel. Then we have Hall of Despair. This gives a feeding synergy, but nobody really uses this because you have to pick it up and then it gives you 10% more light attack damage. Hall of Agony is a thing to use because deals increased damage to enemies that are currently feared. So this is especially helpful in PvP. Howl of Agony, or like the Piercing Howl, does basically as much damage as Wrecking Blow, but has no cast time. It's instant cast. And then, if I fear an enemy and I use Howl of Agony, I get another 30% extra damage. It's just fucking insane, the damage you can pull out. Now, Claws of Anguish, this adds a healing debuff on the enemy. I usually prefer Claws of Life because you gain a heal over time, which can be really helpful. You see, also restores your health equivalent to 55% of the disease damage inflicted. So this, like, when you... It sounds like you bitch slap somebody, okay? Like, I can't explain it better. If you bitch slap 6 people, you get insane healing, okay? It's cool. Now, let's just... Another thing, so a lot of people ask me when I transform into werewolf, do I keep passives, do I keep like medium arm and all that stuff? So, what happens is you keep your sets, so alchemist, I have it here, and I will show you in a second, I will activate it when I'm in werewolf form. Now, what happens to weapons? So, you see I have precise weapons here, you keep the traits. And you keep the weapon enchantments or poisons if you have them slotted. So stuff like this here disappears, like the weapon skills, because it's really weird, like you don't have weapons but you keep the traits, but you don't keep the passives. But what you keep is, for example, you keep those here. If you have heavy armor, constitution, it still works. And also this kind of stuff works. It's just the weapon thing is disappear. Now, when we are transforming, another really important thing is, so when you have like Camo Hunter here or something else that gives you the weapon crit buff and you transform, it will, like, the weapon, the savagery buff is gone because your bars are replaced with the werewolf bars. So when you want to make sure to have high crit in werewolf, you first need to transform and then use a potion. So I sit at 3k weapon damage, not that high, but whatever. And you see 57 weapon crit. Now I transform. 47. Bam, the major savage is gone. It jumped up to 3.2k. I use Howl of Agony, it's 3.4k. And of course if you have a lot more weapon damage, this goes even higher. Now to regain the crit, I kinda need to use potions like this here. I said like a weapon crit potion. I have 47 and it's 57, and you see my weapon set alchemist just procced and my damage even spiked up a little bit higher, 4.5k. Now if we just take a look at like Wrecking Blow or Howl of Agony, 14.7k, you basically can get this up to 18, 19k if you have the right gears. Now, what is important to know, again, this uses Magicka, right? So, I only have 12k Magicka, 3 times and my heals are gone, so that's why I say Stamina Sorcerers actually have a really good advantage in Werewolf, because you have Crit Surge there. And all skills you activated previously transforming still are there for the duration. They usually are active. So Crit Surge holds 30 seconds, you pop it, you go Werewolf, it's still there for 30 seconds and you get more healing. Now other classes don't have that, so if you really want to play Werewolf, make sure to have a healer in your group, otherwise you kind of get screwed. I have pretty high resistances, although I'm in medium armor. Now, the thing is, if you're in heavy armor, you actually gain quite a lot back through the constitution passive, like resources, magicka and stamina, which helps you use Hircine Rage more to heal you. The heal is actually not that bad, it's actually really nice. Now, in terms of combos, what I usually do in PvP, so we know the poisons work, alchemists work and all that kind of stuff works. You need to see, the moment you do a light attack, you put the bleeding on your enemy. Because of the ultimate, it says bleeding. And then I use Claw of Life, so light attack claw, so I have 2 dots on the dude, right? He's probably blocking and doesn't get that much damage. But now you have a fear here. Looks freaking awesome. What happens? The dude gets feared, can't block, and you hit him with a Howl of Agony in the face. Goodbye. He can't break free fast enough, that's the thing. to Hall of Agony, light attack, Hall of Agony, goodbye. Another thing you might have noticed, my stamina went up by like 6, 7, 8k. So when you transform to Werewolf you get more stamina. That's written nowhere, so I don't know why, but it's just like this. Okay, now when you see light attack, claw, so 2 dots, and then we fear, you can't fear this dude, but just for example, and then you light attack, Hall of Agony, light attack, Hall of Agony. And usually after 1, 2 Hall of Agonies the dude is rip already. That's just, you need to get used to this kind of combo. First put the dots on and then fear, Hall of Agony. Hall of Agony hits really hard. That's why I like having quite a high crit rating if you get 2 crits. Like even the tankiest motherfuckers are just a rip. No chance you're gonna survive that. It's too strong. Another thing is, you could use valid ref, proc sets, anything, it works. Like weapons and sets work in werewolf form. That's why it's also freaking strong. So that's basically it. If you have any questions or like anything else I missed, then please let me know. So thank you for watching and have a nice evening. Cheers.